Hey everybody!
Hello!
Happy Friday night!
Happy 4th of July weekend Friday night.
I'm just doing a quick sync up here. Hopefully you can see us already. If not, we'll fix it in a minute. And can you guys see on the... Oh, you need me to share? Do you want to talk to the nice people? And
Hey, how's everybody? Tonight we're going to be bringing some information to you about the Disney Dream. Disney's third out of 4 ships that were produced. It's been a little while since I've been on it, but my anticipation of returning is greatly enhanced with reviewing everything to bring this information to you this evening. In 2011 was the inaugural cruise, and being able to separate it from other ships and the itineraries that they cover and stuff has been pretty exciting for Disney. It's got the interest of many people, and there's 2 other ships that are being brought on in 20... I don't know, about 3 or 4 years, yeah. Anyways, it'll be worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
I think it's 2021 and 2022.
I was going to say 2021.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And I don't believe we have names for them or anything yet. So.
Do we want to start with news, or do we want to
We can do that.
We'll start with news, yeah.
Okay. So starting with news, today the 2017 Candlelight Processional dining packages have been released. So if you are interested in going to the Candlelight Processional and would like to dine at one of the restaurants in Epcot that participate in the package, today's the day that you can go on or your travel agent can go on and book those packages. I will say this past November was the first time that we have been down for that time period with the Candlelight Processional.
Oh, yeah.
And we were actually there the night of Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh.
Which is huge.
Nice. Yeah.
Huge. And it was really, really cool to see it from a distance. I would have loved to have seen it
Up close.
up close.
And really without a dining package?
You're going to wait in line for at least 2 hours or more.
We saw people lining up at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon for a 5:30 show.
And there's no guarantee that you'll get in.
Right, because the dining there are 2 sides, and the dining package side seats, and then if there's any space left, the standby side seats.
Right. So there's no guarantee that you're getting into the little arena that they have. But
I think the reservations are a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I found from the reservations that they do have the reserved seating.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the reserved seating put me a little bit too close to the stage because I was more of a trying to
see
and
everything.
I like to, because of the tiered seating.
Mm-hmm.
I like to go back about halfway, and not being a nonconformist or anything, but when I went in there, I asked them, could I sit somewhere else? And they said, well, we've reserved this for you. And I was like, being that you got in first.
Seeing as how you reserved it for me, can I sit
just
anywhere I want?
I kind of just went down the aisle, went back a little bit, and the lady just looked at me like, whatever. But it's how you want to enjoy your experience.
And it depends on why you're there, too. Like, if you're there to get, like, a broad view of what's going on, then you do probably want to be back a little bit farther.
Yeah.
For us, we were there for Gary Sinise night, and I was really just there to see Gary Sinise. So I wanted to be as close to the stage as possible.
I'll tell you, it's emotional being at that time of the year and the reason for the season.
Yes.
And the different choral groups they bring from all over. I can't just say the East Coast because I've talked to them that came in from the Midwest and stuff to come down there to perform along with the different actors and actresses and television celebrities and whatever that are down there. And like you said, it just came out. I haven't even seen the whole list of who's down there yet this year.
It's not a very long list yet, so yes.
Right, because they won't be finalized for a while.
Right,
so.
I think there's only 2 possibly that have
probably Amy Grant, right?
I didn't see her name on there.
Really?
No.
She's almost always Christmas Eve to the day after Christmas.
I did not see her there. I did not see her on the list. But and just to make note too that it is a 2-table service credit.
Oh.
And I did not know that.
Has it been, or is that new this year?
I feel like it's new.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Because I scrolled down and read a little bit further. I don't recall that, so I don't know.
The year we did it, we weren't on the dining plan, so I don't. And it was 13 anyway, so it's been 4 years, and it's not even current information anyway. But,
but yes, so just interested in that Candlelight Processional.
Our next headline for the week is "Bye Bye Wenches." Pirates of the Caribbean has taken the world by storm in the last couple of hours, days. Apparently the, I guess we could call it not so PC friendly scene where the auctioneers selling women in the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction is
no
going
longer.
away. I don't think we have a timeline on it, right? We just know it's happening. So a lot of mixed feelings about this all over the internet the last day or so. Honestly, I kind of have mixed feelings about it myself. I mean, it's classic attraction. It's a classic scene. Is it really hurting anybody? But, I mean, at the same time, it does kind of send a crappy message.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of feel like this falls under the if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But, I guess it's not the end of the world. It's still going to be a great attraction. And but the internet is losing its collective mind.
Yes. Yeah.
You want to weigh in on this one, Jeff? You have an
No.
opinion?
He says no.
No,
He's like, I'm
He's
staying out of that
speechless. I
minefield.
want- say
I'm out of that
word.
minefield, man. I'm not doing it.
no, because I can take into consideration the historical fact that it did happen.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Disney does do a lot of things, many things, to try to turn, and if you look for it, there's educational experiences. Just going down to Epcot is a multicultural experience for the different. You can even ask them, the one from each country, that they'll speak in their native, language and stuff. But then again, I can understand what it might be from a woman, female, whatever is nobody's getting offended with the term. No, that how they might feel about it, and maybe that's something in history that maybe doesn't need to be repeated to a 10 or 12-year-old or 8-year-old. I don't want to see what was said.
No, it's fun. It's fun.
But yeah, so
We'll share in a minute.
I can see where we would have to conform a little bit. We're doing it with every other aspect in life, and so
Yeah.
I think that they can probably make it just as exciting, just as tantalizing to want to come and ride the ride, and still make everyone, and especially how many moms
Right.
go to Disney.
Exactly.
Well, according to Howard, via Ariel, the redhead was being adopted in the Pirates of the Caribbean, and Ariel wouldn't lie. So,
According to
thanks,
Harry.
Howard. That was awesome.
While we're speaking of attractions, we should, I guess, mention the. Are we mentioning the Hall of Presidents?
Oh yeah,
What-
man, it's a political week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Politically charged this week.
So, since 1993,
Mhm.
the current president has a speaking voice
At the Hall of
at
Presidents.
the Hall of Presidents, and it's not going to be any different. with
This year it wasn't going to happen. Apparently, Disney's people and President Trump's people couldn't get together and get things lined up, so they were prepared to reopen Hall of Presidents actually yesterday, I think, without a speaking role for the sitting president. And, of course, while it's been done since 1993, it also went for 22 years not being done. So it really, yes, the last 3 presidents have had a speaking role, but that doesn't mean that every president till the end of time has to. It's...
Did any of them want to make Disney great again?
So at any rate, the reopening of Hall of Presidents is going to be delayed as a result of the speaking role is now finally coming together. So all they're telling us is late 2017. So we could go a whole year with no Hall of Presidents. So it's kind of a bummer.
Anyway.
All together, or just without the present president?
No, all together.
Altogether.
They're not reopening it until
They figured out.
they have it sorted out.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know. It might be like a slight at Bob Iger, like some backlash for him dropping out of the advisory committee. That I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and it's not political though. It's
No.
It's not going to be political.
No, it's a historical attraction. So of course it's it'll be done in good taste and
Right.
However it
Like it
turns
always
out.
is.
So
In other news, a big
Not sure which one
announcement
you're
to
going to.
alcohol.
Oh, okay.
2018 packages obviously opened on the 20th
For Disney World.
for Disney World, and something that surprised many of us was the change in the dining plan, and the fact that alcohol and specialty drinks for the children, such as milkshakes, smoothies. Not really sure what other things for the kids are going to be added to the dining plan. So with any meal that you have, you get one of those drinks.
Provided that they're available at the restaurant you choose.
Exactly.
So we talked very briefly about this last week because I think we had just gotten the announcement at that point. So
it was very new.
We were just talking before the show. We think this is going to change strategy quite a bit because you're now going to look at your restaurant and
depending on what's available.
Right, based on how much specialty drink you can get with your meal choice. So there's definitely going to be a whole other level of strategizing as far as how to best use those dining plan credits.
And we don't know too if they're gonna change the options at the restaurants too. Even though a restaurant doesn't carry alcohol now, doesn't mean that they're not going to in 2018. So
yeah, because I can't see them taking any away,
right?
Because that would take away the purpose of offering it in the first place. So I think it's going to probably be a little bit more widespread.
More options.
And we were talking a little bit too about like Be Our Guest is already really hard to get. Well, it's also the only table service in the Magic Kingdom that serves alcohol. So is it going to make it even more difficult to get in there, or will they expand the alcohol offerings other places in the Magic Kingdom? Will they try to put them mostly at the less expensive restaurants to try to encourage people to go there? Or, what will the strategy be?
And for those dining over age 21, as we talked a little bit earlier about, I think Amy brought it up, was the specialty drinks that they have for the children to be offered to the adults. To go ahead and get that milkshake and stuff, which is going to add an added value to your meals.
Right. And an added calorie count.
When you're in Disney, man.
That's right, there are no calories in Disney.
Let it
go. You're walking it off, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
You can eat boiled chicken when you come home. You just go drink a milkshake. Hey, I wonder if Girardello's will let you get the milkshakes down there as part of your...
as a snack credit.
Yeah,
I don't know. We don't know that.
No, we don't know that.
No, that was just a question. We'll find the answer. I'll be right back.
I'll get Olivia on that. Olivia, milkshake.
Olivia. She's our junior
our
agent.
Milkshake reporter.
Yes, she is big on milkshakes.
And in our last news item for today, Siemens is dropping their sponsorship at Walt Disney World. And as far as we've heard so far, entirely. They're pulling entirely out of Disney. And we're talking Spaceship Earth, Illuminations. In Disneyland, it's a Small World, sponsored by Siemens. Rumors of Flying, of course.
Yeah.
As they do.
And there's huge comings to Epcot, so maybe that's a reason why too.
Right. It might have something to do with a new sponsor kind of being in the wings.
Right.
It just so happens that Amy, knows a guy that knows a guy who works for Siemens. And we do have confirmation that their Disney benefits are no longer active as of tomorrow. So I'm thinking this probably happening pretty soon.
Next month, and the D23 conference, I think, is the middle of July. So maybe we'll hear more about what's going to happen at Epcot in the future. But I think there's big things in the horizon.
Yeah.
And I can't see any sponsors not wanting to
jump in with 2 feet.
Yeah.
So, but it's pretty interesting because Siemens they have a corporate lounge near Spaceship Earth, I think. I forget which one is theirs.
I don't know.
I know, but they have
never been there.
Never been to
I believe their corporate lounge. You're supposed to be able to see illuminations from their lounge.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I'm not sure where exactly it's located. So,
I like finding my spot on the rail and feeling the heat. There's just something about getting toasted out there.
I don't know. To me, illuminations for me is like World of Color. If you're not watching it dead center straight on, it loses it.
Yeah.
But and I know people will watch from anywhere around the lagoon, like the announcement says. There are great viewing spots all around the lagoon. No, there aren't. There absolutely are not.
I have to concur on that because even the last time I was down there, the beginning of this month, I wasn't positioned on time to be where I wanted to be and see where I wanted to see.
And there are some spots where you can't see a darn thing.
And just didn't want an obstructive view.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see. And I want to be right there. I don't want no one. Get out of here, kid.
So are you an Illuminations fast passer?
I haven't
Do you
never
use
had
your
to be.
tier 1?
No, I normally just go and get out there and do my,
Yeah.
maybe get a drink, soda, water, and I get to know the people around me a little bit, find out what they like about Disney. I'm a people person, so I can talk for 45 minutes till the show comes on. An hour and a half. But no, I haven't had to fast pass it yet.
We used it one time, and it was during Christmas season. And I feel like it was somehow before, I think it was pre-Magic Band, or Magic Bands were new and it wasn't tied, like the fireworks weren't tied to your Magic Band choices yet or something. It was some kind of hitch. And I haven't watched it since, because we tried to watch it one other time off-center. And I was kind of like, meh. It's not as good as that one time where we were watching straight on, so I don't even want to watch it anymore if it's not.
Yeah, and I was very spoiled. I was very spoiled my first time too. So
yeah.
I had a private dessert party viewing area outside of Canada. So I had no complaints.
Yep.
No complaints here.
All right.
So moving on then to
the dream.
Tonight's topic. Unless was there any other news that we missed? I feel like we talked about more things this afternoon, but I can't remember what they were. So, Disney Dream.
Disney Dream.
I think this is something we're all like kind of excited to talk about, because we've all been on the Dream, so we've all seen the ship in person, and it's quite a marvelous thing.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go through and talk about the dining options? Do you want to start there? Or do you want to start with ship?
Actually,
I think the most important thing, I really feel this, if you know that you're going to go on a Disney cruise, at least put the deposit down as soon as possible. Unlike Disney World, there's supply and demand, and your pricing will increase the closer you get to your travel dates or your expected travel dates that you think you're going. It doesn't matter if it's 9 months or a year. If there's pricing now out there, you can go a year and a half in advance, probably to the end of...
It's till the end of 18 right now.
End of 18 right now.
So you really want to be booking in that September through December of 18.
You have that much more time to pay on it. You have that much more time to think about it. You have that much more time to plan it. To brag about it on Facebook, whatever you're doing with it. Yeah. I mean, because it's like... Wait forever. And you can get a refundable deposit, but that's not the reason for doing it so much as securing that cost. If you're going to get the exact same thing for 20, 25, 20% less, whatever, there's not an exact percentage. We know that we sit there and you have a family member that booked and then later on 2 months. I've seen it happen within a couple of weeks. With the other family one to go on, it's $180 more, $220 more.
And we have the ability, as agents on anything that you book, to shop your price. So if a reduced rate comes out later, we can almost always, if your booking matches the criteria of the new offer, we can almost always switch you. So you're risking nothing by booking early, and you'll be well outside of the cancellation dates if you even just cancel and rebook, as far as being able to get a better rate. However, I don't know about you guys, I've literally never rebooked anybody on a cruise.
No.
Because the price has never gone down. So it's not to say it couldn't.
No, it's just that even if they offered a special, the special might be the same as what you've already...
What the initial prices.
That you pay.
Right. And that happens actually, I've seen that happen a couple times at World too, where I've booked somebody, a special has come out, and it still hasn't beat their release price. So we're seeing more and more that those early bookings are really critical to getting the best rates. Also with cruise ship bookings, oh gosh, there were 2 things I was going to say. Okay, well, one of them was, this is the complete opposite of most other cruise lines. Most other cruise lines, you're going to find that there are going to be last minute specials. So if you don't like to plan super far in advance, you can hop on Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Princess, Norwegian. You can get in at the end, pick whatever's on sale,
because they
and
have
go.
20, 30 ships.
They have 20. That's the other thing I was gonna say. Oh my gosh, thanks, Jeff. Disney's supply is so limited because they only have 4 ships.
And when these next 2 come out, it's still not going to be enough.
It's still only 6.
It's so popular that these ships do not go out with availability on them.
Right.
They just don't.
Yep. Wait, sorry.
I like the fact that after your first cruise, you become a silver member.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
After your 5th one, a gold, and then you're platinum, and it gives you the different benefits of being able to book early and early access to activities.
One of the biggest ones on that is the cabanas at Castaway Key. If you're not a gold member, your chances of getting one are none. So, if you're interested in that kind of thing, where you would go and have a place actually on the beach to go back and sit out of the sun and keep your drinks and things like that, that books up really early. So cruising frequently with Disney and building some loyalty is going to be a good strategy.
And on new itineraries, you get a pre-release to be able to book the new itinerary before the general public does too. I'm not sure if that's with the gold or platinum level, but sail 10 times and we'll find out.
You know what? I think I've seen it vary. I feel like I've seen where silver even has a day before the general public to book, but I can't say with any consistency that I've noticed a pattern yet.
And another thing about the cruise, you can be as active or relaxed as you want to be. You go to Disney World, you're not going to get into the Magic Kingdom unless you get up and go to the park. Or unless you get up and go to Epcot, unless you get up and go to the water park, unless you get up and go to Disney Springs. On the cruise ship, you can go get something to eat, something to drink, lounge at the pool, got the adult-only sections, which I love because,
hop on the aqueduct.
Hop on the aqueduct. I didn't think I was going to like that. Well, I was like, I wore myself out. I wore myself out. I was like, yes. But, or you can just be as active as you want with all the different clubs for the kids, the different nightclubs for the adults. Fireworks at sea. We got to mention fire. They're the only cruise line that's authorized to have fireworks.
Oh,
Dory.
What I was going to say, even from the very, very beginning, before you even get on the ship, I couldn't believe the terminal. The terminal
is beautiful.
The terminal is absolutely gorgeous.
And now that's in
I can book
Orlando.
you in the terminal.
I'm sorry, in Port Canaveral.
In Port Canaveral.
Sorry, my one day.
I guess none of us have been to the other ports, right, or to the other terminals.
No.
You've gone out of Port Canaveral?
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah.
Amy went out and saw Port Canaveral.
So the Port Canaveral, the detail, it's just
it's beautiful. They have characters in the terminal.
I met Mickey in the terminal.
Right. And, wearing his captain's hat.
Yes.
And
with the photographer there.
Right.
The Disney photographer was already there. The floor in the terminal, when you come up an escalator, when you step out and you look down on the floor, it's a map. And when your first step on, you are in Disney World on this map. And as you walk out, it's you walking further and further out in the Caribbean, and it is just so cool.
The inlay and the carpet and stuff.
So cool. So
when you mentioned the photo, I'm glad you did, because the photo packages that you purchase on there, they have a library by your last name where you go up to retrieve your packages. Unless it's changed most recently, your size of your photos and the quantity that was put in your package was randomly picked by the cruise line.
Really?
Yeah. And they had a slip of paper in there where you could purchase more or less or whatever. But if you picked a certain package and it said how many 8.5, 4x6s and how many 8.5 by 11s or whatever.
So they choose the ones they think you should have?
Yeah, because I didn't pick any, and I went in there and I was like, well, I wanted a bigger one of Captain Mickey and myself. Where I didn't.
Did they let you switch, or was it?
Because you get them like close to your last.
You don't really have a lot
the
of
day before you leave, and the next morning you're departing. You're deporting. Yeah. I just thought that wasn't, and if that's the only thing, I'm okay with it. But I just thought, I like to be able to go to a shop, which is I thought what was going to happen, where I would go and pick out the ones I wanted and have them print the ones I wanted for my package.
Yeah, and the photo packages on Disney Cruise Line are quite expensive, aren't they?
It's not
they're
like
pretty. Yeah, I mean we're talking like $250 and up for the packages.
I'm not sure.
And some of your best bets is to look at the sort of like their times guide, just like you have in the parks for when the characters and princesses are going to be there, because sometimes you might want to be out on Castaway Cay. If it's important to you, it was for me. I wanted all the princesses, for my wall of princesses in my office. But you come back in and get them, or they'll have them in the evening. They'll have them, but if they're in the middle of the day, and you don't mind taking a little bit of time, you can save some time waiting to get to you.
Right, because of course when the ship, this runs for any cruise line, anywhere, any line. If it's a popular activity and you have the option to do it on a port day and you don't care about that port, schedule it then. Because if you try to do things on the ship on sea day, so's everybody else. So,
right. And that's one thing you can also do in the terminal. And I've never cruised, so I don't know if this is the same everywhere, but in the terminals where you would also sign up for any excursions that you hadn't done prior to getting there.
Right,
So,
and you can also do those at the excursion desk once you get on.
yes.
But for Disney Cruise Line in general, Disney folks were a competitive bunch, but for the most part, I mean, there's such a culture surrounding Disney of, did you do this yet? Did you do this Disney bucket list item yet? You know, so people are constantly, I mean, we get to the point where we're obsessed about what's the next thing that we can do that's Disney. What else can we see? When all of the people on your ship are feeling that exact same way, those excursions, they're gonna fly. So if there is something that you want, you know, it's more than any other cruise line, you need to look in advance before you get on the ship, and probably book because.
Yeah, and you can actually do that within a certain time frame,
Yes.
even if you're not paid in full once you're deposited. There are certain activities that you can take advantage of. Another thing I wanted to mention is making sure you have the right documentation. Grandparents, if you're traveling with grandchildren, moms and dads, if you're taking a cousin or a niece or a nephew with you, or the neighbor's friend that's friends with your son or daughter wants to go along, there's have an authorization. It's called a minor authorization. Get something even in writing and certified by the parent that it's okay to make medical decisions, medical information forms from the doctor if you need to take meds and what, you know, and a description of the meds in case something happens. And if you have insurance and something happens to your meds, there's chances are that they can try to get that filled at your next port, depending on where you're going. I've seen it happen where someone went down and they had the medication waiting for them.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. So just make sure you have the power of attorney for anybody traveling that's not your immediate family member, so that if anything happens down there, you can.
And of course, in general, cruise documentation, there are circumstances under which you can leave from a U.S. port, return to a U.S. port, and not need a passport. I'm going to tell you, do not leave the country without a passport. Do not. If you find yourself in the Bahamas and you're suddenly too ill to get back on the ship and you have no choice but to stay there and fly home, you're not getting on a plane. So don't do it. Get a passport. Have a passport if you are traveling. So that's all I have to say on the subject.
There's going to be a mad rush for passports in the next couple months towards the end of the year.
Do it. Just if you don't have one,
if anybody
get one.
saw on my Facebook, my personal, I just got mine in this week, and mine doesn't even expire till the beginning of next year.
Yeah.
Do it now. Check your passport dates. There are a lot of places, depending on where you're cruising to, depending on where you're flying to get your cruise ship, where you have to be. Your passport has to stay valid for 6 to 12 months after you return. It depends on the country. It depends on the relationship that the U.S. has with that country. Check your expiration date before you book. Make sure you know what it is. Make sure it's valid. Give yourself a year. Make sure it's going to be valid a year after you get home. If it's not, it's time to address the issue.
Good job.
I don't want to see anybody get stranded in a foreign country and I have to go pick them up, you know?
No. Okay.
So, once we get on the boat.
Yes.
The reason I said let's talk about dining first is because the first thing you do when you get on the boat is eat.
Yeah.
Because your stateroom's not ready yet.
Yeah.
So, in the cruise industry in general, and of course this follows through with Disney, boats turn over quickly. So, the people that were on the cruise before you get off at 7 in the morning.
We might want to change our terminology because if a boat turns over quickly.
Oh, no, not the boat itself. No, the people. The flow of the people.
The flow of the people.
The boat turns over quickly. The boat will not capsize. It is not the Titanic. But people are getting off that boat between 7 and 8. I think everybody has to be off by like 8:30, if I remember correctly, from our little get off the boat slip. Your cruise is over. Get out.
And then by 4 o'clock, it's been cleaned.
But the people for the next cruise are coming on like 9:30, 10 o'clock are the earliest port arrival times.
Yes,
so
because we run at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I would say I started seeing clients coming on the ship by like 11.
Yeah.
Some rooms were not ready. They couldn't
Most.
go to their rooms.
Yeah.
But they
So what
were
if you
walking
forget to get
around.
off the ship and you just like
Right.
sort of hang out?
I think
Yeah.
they keep account and they
I'm
scan
like,
your,
hey.
they scan your C-Pass card getting on and off. They know if you're still on there.
Oh, that's true.
But
You can scan
Where's
your
that
card
tall?
and run
Where's
back
that
on.
tall, skinny guy?
I have never cruised before. I was always after being on this cruise ship and touring this cruise ship,
You gotta go.
I've been bitten by the bug. I will tell you. When I stepped foot on that cruise ship, I literally cried, which I know doesn't surprise these guys very much because I cried at everything. But it was so
I'm not going to tell him.
gorgeous.
I'll drop a tear.
It was gorgeous.
It is.
Absolutely gorgeous. I never
I just
felt
like
that that's
watching the
what-
elevators and the H
Yeah.
going up and
Yeah.
down. It's like,
I just
it's
never.
like all crystal and
Right.
Yeah.
gold.
And you haven't, but you've never cruised, right?
No.
Have you?
No.
You've cruised other lines, right?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Because the thing is
Okay,
when I
we'll
got
talk
off,
about that in a minute. But
yeah, when we docked and I was getting off the ship and I looked and everybody on the Disney Dream was looking to go into the, ports of call and whatever. And you looked at the other, like the Epic. And
you see all the sad faces of the people in the other
Norwegian
boats. You're like,
cruise
I
line.
wish I was on that
they were all
ship.
they were all staring at the ship I got off of.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even get off the ship. They were all standing. It's like
I think we figured out we were possibly in the Bahamas at the same time, and I was on a Carnival ship and you were on the Disney ship.
Pretty much.
And I was one of those people who was standing on that Carnival ship. I was like, crap, we should have gone on that ship.
That's the first time I think I put a little pep in my step. And I was like, that's right.
Yeah, this is my ship.
Yeah.
This is my ship.
And to be on the inaugural, besides, this is the captain's hat from the inaugural cruise, autographed from the Disney Dream,
2011.
2011.
Wow.
I actually had a picture and all that, but we don't need to be posting the captain signing it. I didn't get his approval, so we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So we'll try to talk about dining one more time.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yes,
Back
dining.
to food. Sorry.
Back to dining.
We
Rotational
just get
dining.
excited about things, guys. Sorry, we
Yes.
tend to jump around a little bit.
But there is rotational dining, and there's go ahead.
Well, the first place we eat is the
Cabanas.
It's called Cabanas. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. It's Windjammer on Royal Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
I'm on that's the next place we're going. So I'm on Royal Caribbean brain. I got to switch. Cabanas
Cabanas is the buffet.
buffet.
Wow, because even though I only got to tour the ship, I actually got to eat on the ship.
That buffet lunch is so good.
My word. I kept going around and walking and I didn't have anything on my plate because I was like, well, I want that, and I want that, and I want that, and I kept walking around.
Usually
It would just want
With
everything.
Disney, I've learnred to do that every time.
Oh my goodness.
I'll walk before
Yeah.
I get in line. I'll
Yes.
walk
walk
the line
and see
look and
everything
see
before you
because
before
it's
you
just
commit.
like OMG, you know.
Yes. Yes.
With other ships, I've almost every time had an experience where some of the things at the buffet were fantastic, and other things you're a little sketch, like to the point of like, is that still okay to eat? Like, never on Disney.
No, the
Never have I
food-
seen that.
And they don't
Food
wait
was-
for something to get depleted before they replenish it. You don't go scraping the last bit of mac and cheese or anything out of
No.
a plate.
No.
It's
And I couldn't believe how large it was. Like there isn't just one line
Mm-mm.
for all these people. I think there's 4.
Yeah.
Am I right?
I think so. Because
two
there's 2 on each
And 2
side.
yes, yeah.
Mhm.
So I think there's actually 4 buffet lines.
And in addition to standard offerings that would please many palates,
Right.
if you're a seafood eater and you're
Uh-huh.
sailing out of Port Canaveral, you just hit the jackpot, baby,
Mhm.
because we're talking. Is it stone or rock crab? I forget.
I don't know.
It's
crab.
crab, not our crab, not
No,
Maryland,
not
crab,
Maryland crab. No.
but crab nonetheless.
Shrimp.
And shrimp buffet,
Even at lunch. So
I
you
mean,
don't have to wait.
big
for,
shrimps.
Yeah,
pans.
and you don't have to wait for dinner for the seafood. The seafood comes out at lunch as well. So,
Yeah, right.
And to me, I thought that was a pretty big
That
deal.
it really is, because like I said, we've cruised other lines and you don't see it.
Right.
It's great. And I got to tell you this funny thing. Okay. So we know this guy who he's a big time Carnival cruiser, like doesn't want to go on any other line. So he tells my parents the story. He's like, well, I go on Carnival instead of Royal Caribbean because Carnival shrimp are like this and Royal Caribbean shrimp are like this. So we sat down at this buffet, and I was like, I'm looking at the shrimp, and I'm like, oh my god, honey, I gotta text Mom a picture of this.
Yeah,
so I take a picture of my finger hooked beside the shrimp, and let me tell you, Disney Cruise Line shrimp are like that.
Yeah, they're like that.
they're good. It's good.
And for those of you that haven't cruised or dined on a Disney cruise line, when you look at your menu, you can have whatever you want off the menu, as many meals, as many entrees as you want off the menu. If you can't make up your mind between the lobster, ravioli, crab cake, and
just get them both. I mean, why not?
And you're along with
pool,
rotating rotating the restaurants, your wait staff also rotates. So because the question comes up a lot for prepaid gratuities, that's for your servers, for your your hostess for your room, and your the server, the assistant server, and your head server. They all travel with you. If you want a chocolate milkshake after your meal every day, you can just tell them at the end of my meal, I'd like to have a chocolate milkshake. You might forget to order it the second day. They will not. Your chocolate milkshake will come out. If you want eggs over easy, dippy, whatever you guys call them out here, then that's what you tell them. You want a couple of them, they'll go back and have the chef make them special for you. I can't say. Oh yeah, I'm ready to go.
I know.
Yeah. I know.
Just the food makes you want to go.
When I was getting ready for the show,
year.
I was like, oh my goodness.
Broadway themed shows.
Yes.
Hey, we're on food.
Huh?
We're on food.
Okay, well, I mean, I can't help it. I'm getting excited. I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go.
So since we're talking about, we can talk about Flo's Cafe.
Yeah, let's go there next. So this is all on the top deck. So if you're playing along at home,
get your maps out.
This is the deck plan. All of these
and
things
we
that
need
we're
magnifying
talking
glasses
about.
to see it.
Yeah.
I know, it's teeny. So all the things we're talking about are on these top decks right now. This is where all of your buffet food is going to be. Your
unlimited drinks,
soft drinks,
sodas, and teas.
That's a big thing. Disney includes soft drinks in your purchase price. The other cruise lines, you have to buy a drink package, or you have to order your sodas at the bar.
And the only time you do have to pay for a beverage, though, is if you get room service, because it's not a fountain drink; it's a can. So if you do get room service, you will have to pay for a soft drink.
Thanks for that, FYI. Because
You're welcome.
I haven't done that.
Yes.
Where were we? Okay, so we have the Cabanas and Flo's V8 Cafe upstairs, which is that the burgers or is that pizza?
It's both. So it's kind of like a food court, I guess, for lack of better words. So one night you can get chicken, you can get burgers, you can get pizza. So
wraps.
Is there wraps there too? I see wraps.
Hot diggity dang.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I couldn't make up my mind, so I was like, one of each.
So then, and right around the corner from there is the soft serve ice cream.
All you can eat.
The unlimited anytime.
Even at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Almost anytime. Is it open 24?
I went down there.
We didn't find it till the last day. So
Oh no!
I know it was pretty tragic. Let me tell you.
No.
There's a lot of ice cream
real-
opportunities missed.
I just follow the kids. When I want something like ice cream and soda,
Brilliant.
huh?
That's brilliant.
Yeah, where's the kids? I see them coming back with ice cream.
So
I'm
you
like,
end up in
okay.
It's a Small World Nursery, and they're like, "I'm sorry, sir, you're not allowed in here."
Yeah. I don't mean funny. I should say, I see where the ice cream's coming back from the little guest of Disney Cruise Lines.
Yes, you can go up to the ice cream machines as often as you wish.
And they
No.
have like,
5 times, 10
they have
times.
like banana, strawberry, like they have like not just the vanilla and chocolate. Like, they
It
have
tastes like
other ones.
it tastes just like it too. It's not like it's not like an aftertaste or anything like. Some places give you a Ho Joy's buffet or whatever down the street, and you get that aftertaste. It's like it's.
And I couldn't believe, cause again, not ever cruising, I couldn't believe that all this food is included with what I have already purchased. Flo's V8 Cafe is all included. The ice cream is all included. Now, Vanellope's...
Except the Vanellope Sweet Shop.
Vanellope's Sweet Shop.
If you feel guilty about taking all-you-can-eat free ice cream, you can stop by Vanellope's and you can pay for your ice cream.
And I can post a few pictures. I took some pictures in Vanellope's.
Honestly, it looked really amazing. Like I want some ice cream from there.
And they have more than just ice cream. It has
gelato and
different pastries. So you can get the pastries with the Mickey heads on top of it, and it looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
So
so you get a fork or a spoon.
that was one of those things that I intended to do. Would you mind telling her to stop that?
Stop.
Thanks. Sorry, like Dinah's here. She's scratching the post because we're not paying attention to her because she's needy. So anyway, Vanellope's it definitely looked amazing, but unfortunately in a 3-night cruise, just didn't make it back there. I was kind of bummed, honestly. So I don't think you can really see this here. I'm gonna try to hold it better. So of course we have some other dining room options.
Yes.
We have 3 standard dining rooms, and as we already mentioned, they are rotational. So you're going to eat at one night, jump to the next night, and then the next, and your servers will stay with you the entire time.
If I'm not mistaken, if you really enjoyed one restaurant and didn't want to rotate, you can put a request in. It's only a request that you want to dine at the same place twice. They'll check availability, and they'll tell your wait staff that that's what's going to be happening, and they'll afford you that.
Stop. Psst. Sorry. It's not behaving. Don't worry, no kittens were harmed in the making of this film. Okay,
Not yet,
sorry, I gotta go
anyways.
lock her upstairs. Hang on, I'll be right.
Let me do it.
I'll do it. She's just untrustworthy, is what you are.
So in the rotational dining, there are 3 different dining rooms. You have Animator's Palette, you have the Royal Palace, and you have the Enchanted Garden.
Enchanted.
So,
And you can choose. You can make a request for the size table that you dine at also.
okay.
If you have a family of 4 and you want to eat just the you 4,
Mhm.
you can. But some of my most fabulous dining experiences came from
With other
meeting people at these restaurants
Absolutely.
in Disney. And I'm making, you still got people that contact and stay in touch with you from different
oh yeah,
experiences.
absolutely.
That you, and that's not
In
just.
fact, Kathy's watching right now. Not from
We're
a
talking
cruise,
about you, and I didn't even know you.
Not from a cruise, but from Adventures by Disney
Yeah.
the other week. So, do you know? This might have been purely coincidence, and like I said, we've only done Disney cruise one time, unfortunately. We're going back, but we ended up with people at our table who were all very similar demographic-wise to us. They were all about our same age.
I don't know that for a fact, but
Mhm.
the same thing happened.
Yeah.
We had people within a couple year variance, and
Yep.
Mhm.
generational wise, we were
Yeah.
very close.
So I don't know if they actually did that on purpose, but it seemed very unusual. We were all couples traveling without children, all within a decade of each other. Some of us even living geographically close. So that was really interesting. And actually turns out we ended up sitting at a table with someone who was best friends with our college RA. and they're from Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. I mean, for real. You know? So that was crazy. Anyway, so we talked about the names of the restaurants, and we talked about their
Yepper.
themes in particular.
No, we just mentioned the
Okay.
names so far.
So the Enchanted Garden, more a flower,
Like Serene Conservatory type
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
very, very pretty restaurant.
Very pretty.
Let's talk about all of them first.
That's actually where I had all my breakfasts at.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
really? Because at breakfast you can choose, right?
Yep.
You can go to any restaurant you like.
And you let them know, and your servers will come out because they brought me my chocolate milk after breakfast.
And then the others
The Royal
are the Royal
Palace.
Palace, which is a Cinderella theme.
It is gorgeous.
And the theme is carried so far as to like the bread basket
Oh.
is Cinderella's coach. I mean, it's really super.
the lighting fixtures,
Mm-hmm.
it has Cinderella's carriage, slippers, Cinderella herself.
Right.
So
It's one place where you don't mind waiting for your meal because there's so much to
So
absorb.
look at
Right,
yes,
right.
It
yes.
keeps you.
And it gives you something to talk about with your table mates. It's not just like, okay, we're in a restaurant. We're sitting
Yeah.
across from people we've never seen before today.
Oh, look at
and
that.
And
Oh,
you
look
can,
at that.
you can
Oh,
have
look
it
at
set
that.
up so that they will bring the children's meal quicker,
Yes.
depending on what they order, and then whisk them away to one of the labs, or clubs. There's near club for the 3 to 12-year-olds, and
Right.
and then you can have a more intimate dinner with your
Right.
significant other
And your new friends.
and your new friends.
And then the last one is the Animator's Palette, which is just such a cool restaurant.
Very, very
So cool.
entertaining.
Yeah, the pictures on the walls literally come to life in front of your eyes. As
Well, you
you're
draw
eating
them.
dinner.
You draw the pictures.
Oh,
and
you
then-
do? We missed that part.
Yeah, you draw.
We were at mixology right before dinner that night.
They give you, and you draw it. And once
Now
you
it's
draw it,
just
they come around and collect them. And then as you're looking, And one good thing is they will only show on the screens that are closest in your little, like, cute I say cubby hole, but it's like maybe 10 tables.
Right.
Then the other 10 tables over there, you can look over and see those, but those are the ones they drew.
Cool.
So you will actually just be looking, and before you know it, your food comes, stuff.
Right.
But for the children to be able to see their stuff that they drew up there,
Right.
I think it's...
And then, like, when that screen does come to life, it's Crush chatting with you. And
he will chat with you.
Right. And
Cowabunga, dude.
yeah, and he knows things.
Dude.
He knows things he shouldn't know.
And if you've ever gone to Turtle Talk with Crush at Epcot,
It's very similar.
it's very similar at your dining table.
Right.
Can't get much better than that.
No, you really
I'm
can't.
sorry, you can't get much
You really
better than
can't.
They
Location
could have
wise,
somebody walking around playing a violin.
No,
No
that's
way.
boring.
that. No way.
So location wise, the Enchanted Garden is on deck 2 of the ship. The Royal Palace and the Animator's Palette are on deck 3. So for your fancier table service, included table service dining, you're going to be down in decks 2 and 3. For your buffet dining, you're going to be up on deck
Top side.
11. Yeah. 11-ish. 11, yeah.
11-ish? Is that like 11 and a half?
11-ish, yeah,
Is that like 13th floor on a 12-story building?
Most of the cabins, what you're seeing in color here on this map, most of the cabins are in between those 2 decks. So you're either going to be closer to your table service or closer to your counter service, to use our Walt Disney World terms.
Right.
As far as food at the restaurants, did you have a preference among the 3?
No, because I just thought that they were so entertaining in their own. It's like it's hard to narrow down, like, even with Disney World.
Yeah,
We
right.
do have a favorites, but with it just having the 3.
I was ever so slightly, I think Enchanted Garden was
Really?
probably my favorite as far as the food.
As far as the food.
As far as the food,
But
only. Yeah.
as
As
far
far
as-
as the experience, yes.
Because
I mean, probably
and
Animator's
plus how
Palette.
the tables,
Yeah.
if you get the
Yeah.
ones that are like set,
Circle.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like people walk by and you're like,
Yeah. So,
You realize just because I got a full
great-
belly and I couldn't get up.
Yeah. Definitely great experiences all around. I mean, you really just...
And with the dining, there's options. If you book early in advance, you can get your first main dining or second dining. They both have their
Main dining will
perks.
fill up pretty quickly.
They both, yeah. So if you know you want to get, but the thing is, if you're big into excursions, you're going to have to come back a little earlier to get to that main dining.
Main dining's at 6.
But
So-
then again with the other activities and the shows and stuff like that, they're staggered so that you can watch them either way.
Right.
Depending on the demographic of your family. If your children are younger and you want to take the main dining and then have free time afterwards, or if you want the experience later on, stay at your excursion, stay out at Castaway Cay on the beach a little longer.
And very cool thing on
And I
Disney...
think it's about 8 o'clock for that
Yeah,
second dining. So
Second dining's at 8.
it's not going to be like 4 and 6. The
No.
second dining is going to be a little
Right.
bit later in the day. But if you're going to go out and party and go to the deck party and the fireworks at sea, and
You have time
you'll
to
be
do
up for
all
a
that.
while.
Yeah,
You'll
you
be
have
up for
time to do it.
you'll have time. You
Yeah.
don't have to rush.
So it really does kind of depend on how early you want to be back on the ship at those on those port days.
And it lets you adjust to what's normalcy for you and your
Right.
family, in your everyday life.
Right. I mean, it's very normal for me to eat at 6 o'clock. Like I prefer the early dining
And 8.
usually, but and 8.
Just-
But I know a lot of friends that we cruise with, like they're late dining all the way. They are not interested in doing 6 o'clock to sit down for dinner. And I think it's because you really have to kind of wrap up what you're doing for the day around 4:30 to be able. You got to go back to your cabin for the most part. You're gonna want to go back to your cabin and change.
Do your foo and your bling.
Yeah, I mean, even though cruises have gotten more casual over the last decade or so, like tremendously more casual, they do still prefer that you not wear shorts in the dining room. For women, not to wear tank tops in the dining room. You know, to have at least a shirt with sleeves, or I think sleeves or a collar. I think as long as you have one or the other, I think you're okay.
Or you can stay topside.
Yeah, or you can go. Yeah, you can go up to the cabanas and
Right.
wear your shorts and tanks. No problem. For gentlemen, that definitely are looking for you to be wearing long pants. It's preferable if you're, taking maybe a polo shirt, something just a little bit dressier for the dining room. Formal
I
nights are
think for
not
the
as much
Palo
of
and
a
the
thing.
Remy, I think more so. I didn't really see that so much.
But I mean, it's recommended.
It's recommended.
It's
It is.
recommended. I mean, you're not going to get turned away from the dining room anymore unless you're really really pushing the
And, you know,
boundaries of the dress
and
code.
while you're preparing yourself for your meal in that manner, you do build up a little bit of enthusiasm, you know, about how special the time is that you're going and where you're going and
Right.
who
It's
you're
about
going to be with.
respecting yourself and respecting the activities that you're doing and the table mates that you're sitting with. So, the formal night, as it were, is really, in the cruising industry, has really kind of fallen by the wayside. There are ships that still do formal nights. But even then, it's not like ball gown formal night like it used to be. You know, people used to literally rent tuxedos and bring, you know, their leftover bridesmaids dresses that they hadn't worn in 10 years.
Hey, if they can fit into it, God
Hey,
bless
good
them.
for you.
Good for you.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Bring my khakis from the army.
Yeah, but those have really kind of died down in the industry. So, you know, dress is a little more casual than it used to be, but still, you won't feel comfortable probably in the dining room if you try to walk in shorts and a t-shirt.
So Paulo and Remy, those are adult-only restaurants, and they are not included
They do have a cover charge.
in your dining package.
Current for Paulo is $30.
But it's very limited. It's only like $50.
It's $30 per person at Paulo and $95 at Remy.
Did you guys do either one of them?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Next October, I'm doing both.
I did the Remy, and it was, I would do it again and again. Because the food, the way you thought it was downstairs, and fabulous, I don't know how they went and did what they did with the food that they brought us. I'm like, okay, now, you know, like, we just got a shaker full of flavor. Extra flavor because you pay $30 more.
Yeah.
But by doing that, though, my understanding is then you would miss out on one of your rotational dining turns.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, you need to do at least a 5-night cruise so that you can get all 3 of your rotational dinings and do a Paulo and a Remy.
Right.
That's the only way to solve this problem.
And on the first night of the cruise, and on the Dream, we'll talk about the Fantasy another time. But they do have a small dish, 6 dishes seasonal menu with wine pairings for $50 a person. It's only booked when you get on board the first day for the first evening. It's a tasting experience, and I haven't done it personally.
So now we need 6 nights.
Yeah, just take 6 nights. We'll do the 14-night transatlantic.
Right, then you have no problem.
No, then you wouldn't have these because you'd be on the Dream or the Fantasy. On the Magic or the
Wonder.
Yeah. But back to Paulo and Remy real quick. Since it is adult only, you're probably wondering, okay, what do I do with my child? If you're traveling with a child, what do I do with them during dinner time?
Clubs.
So the clubs that are the Oceaneers clubs on board the ship will actually they can eat lunch and or dinner in the Oceaneers club. So
see you, kids.
They will be fed. Don't worry.
And they do have 3 separate types of clubs depending on the ages of the children.
Right.
And they actually do not want parents interfering with the children for a good reason, is because children act different around their parents than they do when they're not, and they want them to show their Disney side. So when they're in there, they actually have, I think, in the Oceaneers Club, you can go look through like a 2-way mirror and make sure they're okay, but you're also given a beeper and stuff. So if anything at all would happen, they know. The biggest problem I ran into or heard about and experienced was the children not wanting to come out of the clubs.
Yeah.
They're pretty fantastic.
I think
as far as the kids,
till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Some of the clubs are for the teenagers.
As far as the being worried about the kids being lost or not knowing where they are, I mean, it's a ship. Nobody's gone very far.
And the D lounge.
You can find them again. Don't worry.
They actually have a D lounge for it's families, so you can go in and show your kids your Disney side too. Also, they have different music, and then what's that called with the blocks, and you got to jump on the blocks and move around stuff. And I was like, that'll work up an appetite. But I see moms and dads, and they're just really having a great time with the kids.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna rent a kid so I can do that.
It was a good time. Ship-to-ship phones.
Not yet.
No, don't talk about phones. Still talking about it.
Yeah.
I get so excited.
I know you get excited. Yeah, because it's
I was
exciting.
looking at the time
it is.
too. My bad.
Oh, okay. If we go over, we go over. We'll deal with it. If people are still watching, that's great. We're having fun. One of the things that I hear all the time about Disney Cruise Line from adults is, well, why do I want to go on Disney Cruise Line? Won't there be kids everywhere? No, you literally, the first night, you're tripping over children, but before they can get into the clubs. Once those clubs open, they're gone. You don't see them until the cruise is over.
And there's so many areas that are adult only. It's not
Mhm.
just restaurants that are adult only. They have
There's
adult
an adult
only
only
pool.
There's
What-
Satellite Falls, which is like a waterfall that comes
Right.
down on you. It's
And
yeah.
and I didn't notice this, but it was pointed out to us. The main reason, the way you can tell an adult only pool to the pool where children are invited, is that the adult only pool has the nicer lounge chairs. They have the nice cushions on
I
them.
didn't even notice that.
Yes.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you see nice cushy cushions and you have a child with you,
Get out.
you gotta go.
Also, the hot tubs are adult only. Don't bring the kids.
Right.
Please.
So,
They shouldn't be in there anyway. It's not good for them.
Right. So to the adult only lounge areas, pool areas, restaurants, you could probably go 3/4 of your day and not see a child.
Yeah. I will say, I saw fewer children on our Disney cruise than I've seen on any Royal Caribbean Princess Carnival cruise. Like, they just disappeared. It was crazy.
I did see them, but it was nowhere
I
near.
mean, sure,
like
in
I-
the pool, but not.
Yeah, I just,
In
I
line
was
for the
amazed.
aqueduct, yeah.
I mean, it was noticeable.
Mhm.
It was noticeable the lack of children on a
Yeah,
Disney
right.
cruise.
One more while we were still kind of on dining, sort of.
That's what you kept telling me.
I know.
You guys
Sorry.
I was just going to let you go.
There's a lounge called the Meridian Lounge in between Palo and Remy, which is a great place to wait
yes.
before your reservation.
Yep.
Just a really cool space. I mean, when you walk in there, you can see all kinds of different references to compasses,
Yes, that
to
was cool.
suitcases, like the beading on the not couches. They're seats from like a diner. But nice.
Like booths.
Yeah,
Like
booths. That's
booths.
it. That's what they're called. Thank you. So the booths,
they had
seating,
the button tuck type.
they have the button tug, and they have like straps of leather, like would have been on an old-fashioned suitcase.
Very cool.
There's a compass on the bar, it's,
Mhm.
and on the floor. I believe there's
Yes.
it's just a neat place to check out. If you're going to Palo or Remy, or even if you're not, stop in and check out the Meridian Lounge. It's really cool. If you take a tour of the ship, they will take you to the Meridian Lounge, and they'll take you inside Palo and Remy and point out the little details. And that tour is included in the cost of your admission. So,
Oh, really?
yep. So unlike taking tours at Disney World or Disneyland, where you'll pay anywhere from $35 to $200 to take a tour, this one's actually included in the
Wow.
cost of your ship. Yeah. So very cool thing.
Yes.
They also do a behind the scenes building of the ship, which is pretty neat.
Oh, that
So
is
it's like a
cool.
slideshow, but it's worth going to.
So, since we were talking about adult only areas,
The kids only area.
While
Do
we're
we
still
want-
talking about adults, we can they do allow you to bring alcohol on board.
Yes.
It's 1 6-pack or 2 750 milliliter bottles. So 2 bottles of wine or a 6-pack of beer, but it has to be on your carry-on.
Right.
If it's in your check-in luggage, they will confiscate it and keep it till the end of the cruise. They want to see it up
Don't
front.
really know why.
It's just
It's
letting
just
you know.
what they are, yeah. So if you're bringing it from home and you're flying, it's got to be in your checked luggage to fly, but in your carry-on to get on the boat.
So you got to make the
So
switch.
you've got to make sure that you have access to your luggage to make that switch before you get to the terminal.
so back, I just want to touch a little bit more on the adult only stuff.
Yep.
Because we took a tour of the spa, which which is adult only area. Well, there's also a children's part to the spa, which I thought was really cute, which I'll touch on in a second. But oh my gosh, the spa, you can be seated, or I should say lounging, on a warming chair facing the water and just have no care in the world. And I just wanted to
And
stay
it's right
there
it's towards the
all
back of the ship, so that you're
day.
just sitting there watching the wake of the waves
Oh my
spread out,
gosh.
and it's just so calming.
It was
It's just-
awesome. Then they have an area where, is it called the rain? I forget exactly what it's called, but
I
you can
think
go into different, like shower
This
areas.
is separate from
Yeah.
Satellite Falls?
They got the earth.
Yes, no, this is in the
Okay,
spa
this is
area.
inside the
This is
spa,
in the
okay.
spa. Yeah, so you can go into the rainforest. You can go into, I don't know.
They have the large, like I think we call Earth something shower
Yes.
heads, where it's
Yes.
just huge. It feels like you're standing out in the rain.
It is so
Now,
cool.
are any of these available without booking spa services, or do they all?
I think you need
do
to
they
book
all
spa
have a cost?
services.
Okay.
And touching on that, check it out because it's very, very reasonably priced to go into the spa every single day of your trip. So they offer specials. Just check it out.
And you can do the couples.
Yes.
Come
and
on,
of
guys.
course they have manis and petties and all
Come
that
on,
stuff
guys.
too.
Do it.
And just touching on that real quick, they do have a child's spa area. If your child wants a massage, the parent does have to be present. But there's also a place where the children could do manis and pedis. And I guess we'll talk about this later, but there is a Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, I think, on all cruise ships. If you cannot get into Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, you can take your daughter into the spa, the children's spa, and get her nails done. So if Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is booked up, there's an alternate to get her nails done at least. So
That's good.
and then of course the district area.
Yeah. Do we want to stay on the spa deck with the pools?
Oh, we can.
On that?
Okay.
Let's finish up with pools and fitness center.
Okay.
And
Yep.
then head down to the downstairs. So all the things we're talking about right now are going to be on those decks 11 and 12 on the Dream. Maybe a little bit on 13. Yeah, mostly deck chairs on 13 actually. So this is still in your upper part of the ship near where the cabanas are. Spa, your pools are going to be up there. There's the adult-only Cove pool.
Yes.
And then there are 2 family pools, the Mickey and the Donald. And they're fairly close together, Mickey and Donald. So it's pretty easy to tell, like, oh, Donald's kind of full, we'll go over to Mickey today, vice versa. And then there's a splash and play Nemo area for the kids. Do you know what the age restriction is on
That's
that? I
sort
don't
of tucked
remember.
underneath of
it's
where the
underneath.
aqueduct.
Yeah,
Yes.
is that 3?
Yeah.
3 and under?
Now,
5 and under.
I think it's 3 because the 3 and up is allowed to go in the lounges. So that's the dividing point of what
And
they.
there's
Okay.
and there's no swim diapers.
Anywhere.
No swim diapers anywhere. Just putting that out there.
And then, of course, if you want something a little bit more extreme than the pool, the aqueduct runs above your head. So, aqueduct is it's a clear tube water coaster, and you go up and you grab a raft and
And it does take you out over the side of the ship.
It does, yeah. It boops out and then back in.
So bummed I couldn't do that.
Yeah, it goes all around the perimeter of the ship, plus that little bump out. And I mean, it's pretty fast, but it's not like I'm the biggest chicken in the world when it comes to rides. Like I don't ride anything, and I rode that twice. And
What's he doing? Turn.
hey,
Pick
you
me
went on
for your
Flight of
coach.
Passage. I'm scared.
Oh.
Oh, well, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
That's another trip.
That's a whole other
So-
podcast. So.
So anyway, the aqueduct definitely a cool thing. And another thing I think is worth mentioning here. Like I have a pretty rampant claustrophobia. With the tube being clear, I can deal with it because I can see outside. So I know where I'm at all times. I feel like somebody can see me if I get stuck or if something bad happens. Like I feel safer. It does wig me out a little bit, but I can do it.
Anybody who's questionable on it, it's not a ride where like you think like, okay, I've had enough, okay, and you're waiting for it to end.
No.
It
it's pretty fast.
happens and you're done.
Right.
And then it's to the point where it's like, okay, that was cool. I'll do that again.
Right. And you get sprayed in the face pretty good. There were definitely times throughout the ride when I was like,
It's water.
oh, okay, there's a lot of water. Like, it's really...
Oh, I got wet.
No, but it's like rushing at your
I was
face.
on a water ride and I got wet. Yeah.
Shut up. It's rushing at your face kind of fast. I mean, it definitely... The first time you do it, you're definitely like, oh, hey, what's that? What's going on? But, like, second ride was great. So that's cool.
But you can breathe while you're doing it.
You can breathe while you're doing it. You don't have to hold your breath through the ride. You're not gonna like aspirate water or anything.
It's like sometimes I come out this color because I cannot breathe because I am so scared.
Yeah, you don't have to smurf it. You'll be fine. Fitness center. There is one.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go.
Sure.
Did you see it? Did you go?
Yes,
I didn't go.
saw it. I saw it.
The fitness center, I looked in there.
Yeah, we didn't go.
It's pretty large.
They get machines, and they actually do Pilates and yoga classes. I think.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, I had Pilates circled on my little sheet as things I wanted to do, and then I found something that probably involved food, and I did that instead. So,
I just went up
it's a
and
cruise ship.
took the wraps.
You took the wraps. I was doing the ice cream cones.
Yeah. There you go.
There's also a sports deck. They have things like ping pong and mini golf, and there's a basketball.
Basketball.
Court. And there's a walking track, but it's actually down on deck 4. So that's
A lot of
not
people
at the top
utilize
like
that,
some of
especially
them.
early in the morning. You
Yeah,
go
the
out
walking track's pretty cool.
Yeah, probably after feeling guilty for eating 5 ice cream cones the night before, you probably go and walk the track the next morning.
I believe that you can't get the whole way around in a circle though on this one.
No, you have to cut. There's
You
a
have to
couple.
either-
Yeah, there's
you
a
have to either
couple
cut
like
through or-
plexiglass.
Yeah,
areas.
or walk back and forth. instead.
You sort of
so.
zigzag in and out.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know if it's for the in case it's very windy, or you get a strong headwind,
probably.
it sort of breaks the wind before it gets back to the pool area.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
So.
And they
where
do
do
have
we
their
wanna go
pool.
from there?
There's still a lot to talk about.
There's tons. You can, I mean.
Do you want to talk about the kids clubs?
Yeah. Let's go there next.
Okay, so the kids clubs, which we mentioned briefly.
Deck 5.
Yes, and so speaking of that, deck 5 is the children's. Deck 6 is where all the adult activities are. So if you are away from your child because they're in the Oceaneers Club, you're in. I'm sorry, level 5. Yeah, you're in level 5. The kids are in level 6. Is that correct? Or
5 and 4.
5 and 4.
Yeah. Districts.
Yep.
4. Yep. Sorry, I went to the wrong floor a whole
I'm
bunch
sorry.
of times, so
Okay.
I got mixed up in my head too.
Sorry about that. But the kids clubs are super, super cool.
Starting with 0 to 3, it's a small world nursery.
Yes.
And there is a cost for that.
There is a cost for that, and
for it's a small
for
world.
it's a small. Yes, there is.
It's minimal, but
And there is a minimum age to.
And there's a limit how many they let in because they make sure that the ratio of
Yes, adults to children.
Is correct.
Yeah.
It's safe.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the name what they would call them.
But and I don't know if it's recommended or is the guidelines is that you have to be 6 months old.
Yes.
That's
That's an absolute. Yes.
You must
be 6 months old.
Right. They cannot be any younger than 6 months.
And another misconception is people try to shy away from the decks that these clubs are on because of the noise. The entrances to the clubs are right by the main shaft of elevators midship. So they get off the elevator and they go right into the clubs. If you're forward or aft,
Because
if you're
there
more
are
than
cabins
5
on
rooms
this
down,
floor.
staterooms down away from it, you're not going to have any of those difficulties
You won't
because
know
you're
they're there.
the room category that you're looking for. And God, there's so much. We could talk about the split room baths. We could talk about there's so many different
We
things.
might have to save the cabins for when we do the fantasy because
And we'll do it all at one
Yeah,
time.
and we'll do the.
But don't shy away from deck 5 or deck 13 actually, where the edge for the 11, 14-year-olds are, because they get off, they go into the club, and it's done.
Yeah.
You're not going to hear them if you're 6, 8, 10 rooms down the hall. And you're not going to be in the room that much anyways during the day.
Right.
At least I wasn't.
And one thing that was really cool, I noticed because if anybody's around me with Olivia, I have hand sanitizer with me at all times. So I'm a little skittish when it comes to germs. They have the coolest hand washing system going.
That can wait.
We are circling, I guess that means.
Okay. Can you guys see us? Oh my gosh, if that killed our broadcast, I'm be so
I
mad.
think we're okay.
Are we still? Can you see us?
I think we're
You
okay.
can see us. Okay. Okay. All right. Good.
Okay, so there is, and I'm pretty sure it was the Dyson name brand. I'm not sure, but it's almost like a washing machine for your hands. So all you do
cool.
is you stick your hands.
Oh yeah, like those. They're touch free because
Yeah.
you don't have to touch the knob.
No, and you put your
Nice.
hands in it, and it circles around, and then it dries it, and then the kids are free to go. It was so cool.
Wow.
They must do that before and after, and there
And
is
there's
an
no paper
attendant
products.
now, and there is an attendant standing there making sure that it is happening.
Wow.
So, and
I like that a lot better than the mandatory hand sanitizer.
Yeah,
at the
because
buffets because that
there's no substitute for
washing's
hand.
awesome.
There's no substitute for
Right.
soap and water. Close second is of course your hand sanitizer. But one thing that I'm not sure how Olivia would deal with this, but like Jeff had said earlier, the Oceaneers Club, all of the children's clubs, are only for the children. They do have, they call it an open house, where the parents can come in, and it's usually for like an hour out of that day that you can go in with your child and play with your child in the play areas because they're really cool. But other than that hour of the day, there are no other adults in there besides the
And
people
on the-
who are
And
watching
And
the children.
how quickly does everyone make friends instantaneously?
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, Ben was really bummed about these areas being restricted to children because one of them is Star Wars themed.
Yes.
So
Well,
it's like you're inside the Millennium Falcon.
Tell them to wear a diaper and I'll... No.
And when you're talking about these clubs, it is not 4 walls with games for the kids to play with and they're looking at each other and television screens. It is multiple rooms, multiple sections. So you have Andy's playroom, which just put me in it. It was so much fun. They have a huge Mr. Potato Head. They have the Slinky Dog that you crawl through. Oh, it was so cool. Then they also have a Pixie Hollow room where you can play dress up. Tinkerbell is there. Like, not Tinkerbell, but like Tinkerbell is flying around.
Cool.
There's always arts and crafts to do. The Star Wars, the Millennium Falcon. They have
You can make
arts
your
and
own
crafts.
records.
Yes, yes. So they have you can train to be a Jedi, which and
Okay.
then
Karaoke, hook the mic
they have,
light.
yes.
Yeah.
So it's,
I wanna go.
it's so much for these kids to do that they will not get bored. Then you also have like the lab area where they actually have scientists come in and they do stuff like cool stuff, and they come in and the kids actually are helping with experiments and just so.
So what the ages on this are 3 to 12?
3 to 12 is
Right.
the Oceaneers Club.
And then, and then it kind of overlaps because the edge is 11 to 14.
I'm sorry, did I say 10?
No, you said 12.
12, okay,
You're good.
yes,
3
okay.
to 12.
3 to 12.
Because the edge is
3 to
11 to
12.
14.
11
Right.
to 14.
So
and
it
then,
gives your child a chance to say, you know what, I still enjoy doing dress up and I like Star Wars, I'm going to go to the Oceaneers lab even though I'm 12.
Yes.
Or your 11-year-old who's decided they're too cool for school can go to Edge. Right.
Which is the tweens club.
Right.
11 to 14 areas.
And then Vibe overlaps that as well, right? 14 to 17?
14
Yeah.
to 17. So the Edge, then we start to get more in towards video games and
Then, of course, if they're,
movies, music,
right. If they're
that kind of
18, they're kicked out. Then they have to go to the Cove Pool.
They even have an urban coffee shop set up at the Vibe.
Cool.
stuff.
Talent show.
Where's all this stuff when we were kids?
I know, seriously. And another thing, talking about the kids' rooms, it doesn't just stop on the ship. If you are in the Vibe age group, 14 to 17-year-olds, when you get to Castaway Cay, there's actually excursions for that age group.
Mm-hmm.
So it's $49. They can do biking, snorkeling, I think boats. I'm not exactly... Yeah, I think boats. From 9 to 1:30.
It'd be the paddle boat.
Yes. And they're off doing their own thing with now the new friends that they have made while mom and dad
Awesome.
are just chilling out at Castaway Cay. So cool.
And
Yeah.
if your children are that age and you really don't have to have contact with them for a couple hours because you know they're going to be busy, you can actually catch the tram, which runs down an abandoned section of runway from an airport back whenever, and go down to Serenity Bay, which is the adult-only section of the island.
There you go.
And if you go out far enough, depending on your height, because the water came about right to here,
Really?
and then it went back down, and I went up on a sand barge, and I just laid out there, and I was like, wow. But just make sure you got someone with you to wake you up, because I'm laying out there. Next thing I know, my big belly hanging out. There's like 15 people standing next to me. I think they're going to try to save me.
Another cool
Has he
thing.
got a hook on him?
Another cool thing with the kids clubs. Sometimes the characters actually come to the clubs, and they will come in and they'll play games with the kids.
Right.
Lilo and Stitch will come and teach them how to do
Hula.
dancing and that kind of stuff.
So they're ready for your trip to Alani?
Yeah, exactly. So always something to do in those clubs.
So real quick, guys, let's talk quickly about things that are just specific to the Dream, and then hold staterooms, Castaway Cay, the district, and the theaters and things for our show on the fantasy, because we're going to run out of things to talk about the fantasy. So we'll be like, well, it's the Dream, except it's designed
The fantasy.
Very
different. So the theming on the Dream, it's an Art Deco styling. It matches the Magic. So the Dream and the Magic have the same styling. The Fantasy and the Wonder have the same styling. And then the Dream and the Fantasy are the larger ships. The Magic and the Wonder are the smaller ships. So there's a lot of like cross styling and the shows on the Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Did they go over them? Because I think one of them changed.
I think they changed.
One of them changed for sure. We were on in 15. It was Golden Mickey's, Villains Tonight, and Believe. I believe Believe and Villains are staying. I believe Golden Mickey's is gone, and it's being replaced with a different show.
I still have my golden Mickeys.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
When they shot them out of the cannons,
Yeah.
they went all over. I got stampeded. I was on the floor trying to pick them up.
I want to say Beauty and the Beast.
I was gonna say.
Okay, all right, we're thinking it's
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Because there's also a Tangled show coming, but I believe that's the Wonder, if I remember correctly. So, at any rate, other things that are specific to the dream.
I got a few items
Do you
down
have
here,
anything?
but I do, but they're not specific.
They're not
gonna be,
specific to the dream. They're
you know, as
just
far as that.
cruise in general. And, yeah, the wave phones. We'll make sure we do that.
The pirate.
Well, we can mention that as far as booking itself, with the insurance, unlike
Yep.
Disney World, where your flights, whether you purchase them, we purchase them, or whether they're purchased by Walt Disney World, when we do the booking package, it's covered under your insurance policy. With the cruise lines, your airlines are not included in the insurance, and it's just for people that have been to Disney World and it's not mentioned, and or
Be prepared
we
for
don't
that.
want you to be misrepresented in saying that, well, it happened here and you thought it was going to happen there. We wanted to make mention that it's not going to be included.
Another thing that's specific to the dream is its itinerary list. The dream runs a very predictable itinerary. It goes 3 nights to the Bahamas, 4 nights to the Bahamas, 3 nights to the Bahamas, 4 nights to the Bahamas, and that's all it does, over and over and over and over and over again.
Bear in mind that a 4-day, 3-night, and this is why I try to tell the clients that I'm working with, or we all do, is that you're going to be departing in the
midday to evening,
and then getting off at 7, 8 o'clock. So it's more of a 3-night, 2-day.
2-day.
I mean, of course, you can get on and eat and everything
Right.
at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, but it goes by rather quickly. It really does.
It does, but don't shy away from that
No,
short cruise if
don't.
you're a first-time cruiser, or
That's it.
if you're just cruising with Disney for the first time and you're concerned about the cost.
Yep.
Because I will tell you, that's the one we did, was the 3-night, because it's what was sailing when it was convenient for us, and it was, fit in the budget nicely, and we were like, hey, let's go check it out and see what it's about. And I had more fun in that 3-night cruise than I had on a week cruise on another carrier.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was going constantly. Ben was napping most of the time. But that's just how we like to be. Like, we both had a tremendously awesome vacation on basically 2 days worth of fun.
Because you got to have the ship all to yourself because Ben was napping.
Yeah. Well, and we didn't get off.
Ben, it's time to eat.
We didn't get off in Nassau because we had been in Nassau already.
You got coconut rum.
I didn't really think much of it, so we didn't get off. We just stayed on the boat the whole day.
Yeah.
So it was basically a day. We had our own made-up sea day, and then a day at Castaway Cay. So
And it's best to look at the different things that are offered down there, because if you get off and don't have anything planned, which is what I did, I just played it by ear. There's a lot of shops. There's a lot, but I mean, you can go shopping anywhere. You can do different things. So if you're interested in going, getting off on that particular day, look for something to keep yourself entertained a little bit. Because if not, they're going to try to sell you everything under the sun.
there's
They
a
do
flea
it
market.
every port.
Yeah, but in Nassau in particular, there's a flea market basically right off of you walk down a walkway and there's a building, and then outside that building, it's kind of street vendor craft kind of stuff. I didn't feel like in the Bahamas they're as pushy as they are elsewhere in the Caribbean, but they're definitely out to
It
sell
might
you
be by
stuff.
now.
There is a public beach that you can walk to, but it's quite a hike, and I mean, Nassau's not the safest city in the world. It's not unsafe, but it's no Bermuda. It's definitely got an element that you're like, you know what, maybe a cab would be called for. We've walked it ourselves, but I don't think I would walk it with kids.
One of the reasons I was mentioning for the going the extra day is because getting to do a double.
Yeah,
they do
either
have
a double dip Castaway Cay or get a sea day, like a legitimate sea day.
And that's why I say there's still plenty to do, but you can still relax.
Right.
I would look at both prices. I'd price it out both ways, especially if you're going that far in advance.
Yep. Also, the shorter cruise gives you the opportunity to add on a Walt Disney World vacation,
Surf and turf,
so that you can surf and turf. So it gives you more options, gives you a lot of choice. So, is there anything else specific?
I mean, does people ask you what they should do first?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What do you suggest?
Walt Disney World.
I know.
Absolutely, 100%.
Because I don't want to go and be,
I don't want to be relaxed.
I just came out.
And then go walk 10 miles
Yeah,
away.
just came out of the Bahamas. Hey, man, what's up? And then all of a sudden, it's like, there's Mickey, there's Epcot, there's Magic Kingdom.
If you want to come back from your trip well rested, you need to do World first and Cruise second.
And if you know that you're going to have that cruise and be able to shellac a little bit, to chill out, to take it easy, then go at it. When you're in Disney World, just go.
I would actually prefer Lancy Land, but
right.
Just saying.
Lancy.
We actually were.
You're never going to want to come back from either one.
We talked to a couple.
Either one.
We talked to a couple in line that they were on like their 90th cruise day in a row, and they were literally just doing the Dream, and they kept getting off and getting back on. I was like, what? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was wild. I was like, okay, that's.
I wonder if they were trying to break that record.
Maybe. I don't know if there's a cruise record or not.
2,000 days at sea.
I was like, why don't you take a transatlantic or do a longer cruise if you want to go longer? They're like, well, we just like this ship.
Yeah.
We just want to stay on it for like a month and a half.
Hey, those transatlantics are nothing to.
They have some good pricing, but they are gone like a week after they release. Good luck finding a room. Anything else that's specific to the Dream?
I don't think so.
That you want to talk about? Otherwise, we'll hold everything else.
So, I was going to say it's difficult. I can't see. I think we're good.
Okay. So our fun fact, which I forgot to do last week, sorry,
is about twice as fun this week.
Is about Club 33 in Disneyland. If you're not familiar with it, it is an exclusive club. So exclusive that we can't even get in. There is a wait list, mostly celebrity clientele, captains of industry, etc. There's not actually, I don't believe, a public disclosure about the fees, but I believe it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $15,000 a year to belong to the club. And you still have to pay for your meals and make your own reservations 60 days out. But this club, the Secret Club, does exist in Disneyland Park. It's marked with a simple 33 on the door on Royal Street. So if you're walking through New Orleans Square at Disneyland, you can see the door. They just aren't going to let you in if you knock on it. But don't feel bad. They won't let me in either. So you can go up as a guest of another Club 33 member. So get your Rolodex out and see if you can find Johnny Depp's number. And then you can probably go, or Tom Hanks, he's also a member, from what I understand. So if you've got either of them in your Rolodex, call them and then call me, because I want to go with you. Right. But anyway, it's an exclusive club inside Disneyland Park, and if you look up as you're walking through the New Orleans Square area, you can often see people sitting out on the balcony having their lunch or dinner. So next time you're in Disneyland, look up. See what there is to see up there.
Or who there is.
Right, who there is to see. So anyway, just our little fun fact of the week. Also, rumors that Club 33 is potentially coming to Walt Disney World. So, if you've got a pocket full of cash sitting around, don't know what to do with it, save it. You might have a good opportunity coming your way. So with that, we will be back next week. And on the schedule originally for tonight was Paradise Pier and the Good Neighbor hotels at Disneyland. So we did a little switcheroo because of who was available this week versus who's available next week. We'll be back to you with that information next week. And then I think the following week we're gonna bounce back and forth, like cruise something else, so that you don't get bored with us talking about boats, and so that we get to share some other things with you too. So we'll see you next week, and till then, have a great week, everybody.
Happy sailing.
Happy 4th of July.
Have a safe weekend. Yes. And don't forget the reason why we're celebrating and have the ability to be able to celebrate. And take care and have a magical week.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.